Hi friends, welcome to my channel totalqa.com. Today we are going to focus on a new topic. How do we read Excel using Apache POI library? Apache POI stands for Poor Obfuscation Implementation File System. So let's get into the agenda today. We will focus on Apache POI and what is the download link for Apache POI library, what is the Excel terminology, and a demo on how do we read XLSX in Java project, how do we read XLSX in a Maven project, and a walkthrough of Java and Apache POI API. What is Apache POI? Apache POI is the Java API mainly useful for Microsoft documents such as XLS, XLSX, Doc and PowerPoint as well. In Apache POI, there are two main APIs which will be helpful for reading Excel documents. When you say Excel, there are two different formats which we will store the data, mainly XLS and XLSX. If we are interested in reading the data from XLS, then we have to use an API named XLSX, which is a horrible spreadsheet format. And if you wanted to read data from XLSX, then we have to use the Apache POI API XSSF XML spreadsheet format. In this video, we focus mainly on how do we read the data from the XLSX using XML spreadsheet format, which is XSSF. How do we download Apache POI library? To download the Apache POI library, please access the link mentioned below. It is poi.apache.org/download.html. So based upon the operating system, we have to download the binary distribution. If we are using Windows laptop, we have to use POI-bin- the version name. But if you are using a Linux operating system, you have to use POI-bin- the version .tar.gz file. But currently we are using Windows operating system, so we have to download POI-bin the version .zip. I have already downloaded the latest version. I will show you how the contents of the folder looks like. Let me open the folder. So I just now downloaded POI-bin, the latest version. It will be downloaded for us in a zip format. This is a zip format. I have downloaded from the website link. I will unzip it. When I unzip it, this is the content of the POI library. Right. Then move on to the presentation. After downloading the Apache POI library, then we have to focus on Excel terminology. What is the advantage of Excel terminology? This Excel terminology will help us to write the programs. Okay, this terminology, if you look at the file, a file is mainly useful for storing the data. In Java, if you wanted to read any file, we have to create a file object. Then, if you wanted to read the data from the file, we need an input stream, that is a file input stream. And mainly in this case, here we are reading an XLSX file. It has a workbook. And each and every workbook contains multiple sheets. Generally, if you open any workbook, it has 3 default sheets, and sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. They referred by index 0, 1, 2. Means, let me show you how it means here when I say sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. In the case of Excel terminology, as I said already, file is there. You have to read a file. You need to create a file object. Then you have to read the characters. Then you have to use file input stream. Then in the Excel we have a workbook. In the workbook you have sheets. There are 3 different sheets. Sheet 1, which is by default will be there. Then sheet 2. Then sheet 3. Sheet 1 is referred to index 0. Then similarly, sheet 2 refers to index 1. Then sheet 3 refers to index 2. And also, sheet contains cell. If we wanted to read a data in a particular cell, we need a row index and a column index to fetch a particular cell, and the contents of the cell we have to read. So this Excel terminology is useful for us for reading the data from the XLSX format. Let's get into the topic. Now the demo part. So first what we do is we create a Java project in Eclipse. We will write a very basic program to read an XLSX file using a enhanced for loop, and we will store this data in an array. Right? So let's get into the program. Then the next topic in this demo is how do we read the data from the XLSX using a Maven project in Eclipse. These two are different projects, a Java project and a Maven project. First we'll look into the Java project. So I have opened Eclipse. First thing, we will create a Java project. Right click in the package explorer, select new, select the Java project, create the project name as say Total QA, say Apache POI. Then click on finish. I have created the project. A Java project is created. We can expand and see the contents of a Java project. It has a SRC folder. It has a JRE system library also available as part of it. Now, before we start writing the program, the required libraries has to be added to the Java build path. So, right click on the project. So, I am going to add now the required libraries to the Java project. I select libraries here. I have downloaded the required libraries in this location. As I already mentioned, if you wanted to download, we have to download from the website the zip file, the binary distribution, which is a zip file for Windows. You have to unzip it. Then you should find out the location where you have unzipped it. So these are location I have unzipped it. I am copying this location now. Go back to the Eclipse. Then click on add external jars. Provide the path exactly where we have downloaded. Then select all the required jar files which will be helpful. First one, I think I am selecting all of them which might be helpful for us. Select all the jar files which are in the parent directory. Then again, click on add external jars. Select the folder xml-lib and select these two jars. And again, click on add external jars. Go back to the parent directory. Then select the lib folder. Select all the jars. Control A. So select all of them and click on open. It will be selected. So all the jars I have added. Click on OK. So now let's get into the program. I'm going to create a program now. Right click on the SRC. First thing, before we create any program in Java, the good practice is to create a package. And the package is in lowercase. I'm going to create a package, say total QA, total.qa. Apache POI .read XLSX. This is the package name. And I'm going to create a class name. The class name is, say, read XLSX. So the prerequisites are ready. We created a Java project. We added the referential libraries in the build path, and we created a Java program. And also there is one more prerequisite, that is we have to create an Excel. Then we have to store the data in the Excel before we start writing the program. So let me try to create an Excel file now. In this folder, right click, say new, select Microsoft Office Excel worksheet, and make sure you have the version as .xlsx, and just mention the, say, data.xlsx, say that test case data.xlsx, and double click on the test case data.xlsx. Suppose here we are maintaining test steps, say test step ts_001. I maintain here the test step, say open the Chrome browser. Then I'll maintain one more test step 2 here, say enter the URL 10ts003, login to the application. So here if you look at, I have 2 columns of data and 3 rows of data. Right? Just keep in mind, I will save this application. Again, I'll repeat, we have 3 rows of data and 2 columns of data. I'll save this, and the format of the file is .xlsx. Then I will close this. And before we go ahead and write the program, I will copy this XLSX file, Control C, copy this file, go back to the Eclipse now, select the project, right click, paste it. See the data, the test case data.xlsx file is copied into the project. I minimize them. You can easily identify that this has been added to the project. The prerequisites are ready. I'm going to start writing the program. Okay, let's start. So in a Java program, mainly we start with a main method, public static void main string args. Here, first point, we're going to create a file object which is useful for reading the file. File is a class in Java. We're going to create a file object, file f is equal to new file. And we're going to provide the name of the file which we're going to read, that is test case data.xlsx. Now, do we need to give the full path, or we just need to mention the file name? If the file is available, the file is available within the project, it doesn't require to give the full path, which we call as absolute path. You have to give the relative path if this file is available in the project. So here the relative path is, in this project the file is available in the parent directory of the project. So I am just giving only the file name. So it is always useful, because if you are trying to provide the absolute path, say I can give the absolute path as here. I can copy this location. I can give the absolute path as here in this scenario. What will happen if I provide the absolute path? If there is a possibility of the directory location is changed, the program again we have to modify. So to avoid, in always majority of the examples, try to make sure you keep this file in the project so that no need to provide any location. We just need to provide the relative location of the file. It means only the file name, but the file should be there in the project. Now we are getting an error. We'll try to resolve this error. It's very simple. Whenever you try to add any file name, any object to create, the file is a class right now, as I said, that has to be imported. So that is missing. That's the reason it's giving error. But anyway, let me cross check here. Right click, quick fix. Okay, it is asking us to import and package import java.io. Let me select this. It has been done. Okay, the first step is completed, which will be helpful for reading this file. The second step, as I said already, file input stream is required to read the characters from the file. File is useful to point to the file only, but if you wanted to read, we have to use file input stream class. I'm going to create an object of the file input stream class. New file input stream class, and this requires a constructor to be called which takes a parameter as a file. Now we have to import. Right click on the line number 10 and import this. Select quick fix. Okay, fine, we imported as well, but still we are getting error in the line number 11. What might be the reason? The reason might be whenever we are trying to create an object of few classes, it will force to add either try catch or throws followed by an exception. Let's see here, also same case. It is throwing, or it is asking us to put try catch in the program. So as of now, I'll put add throws declaration. It will say whenever you are using file input stream, it will force the user to put try catch or throws with an exception, file not found exception. Now, next step, we have to use Apache POI API. If you remember the Excel terminology, this is done. The file object is created. The file input stream is created. The next step, workbook. The Excel file contains workbook. In order to read the workbook available in the XLSX file, Apache POI has provided a class name. The class name is XSSF workbook. We create an object of the XSSF workbook. And we pass the file input stream object as a parameter while creating an object. This will call a constructor with arguments. Now, as usual, we have to import the class which we are trying to create an object, that is available in org.apache.poi.xssf.usermodel.xssf workbook. Again, even though we create an object, we import the statement, again we are getting an error. It means while creating an object, it is forcing the user to put either try catch or throws followed by an exception. Let's see what is that exception. Right click here, quick fix. Now it is asking us to put try catch or throws for an IO exception. So file not found exception, comma IO exception should be there in this scenario. Let me select throws declaration of IO exception. Have you observed one more point? Whenever we select IO exception, the file not found exception is automatically removed. The reason being, file not found exception is an subclass of IO exception. So whenever you have a superclass in the case of exceptions, it doesn't require to mention a subclass here. You can maintain only the superclass. That's the reason file not found exception is automatically deleted, and the superclass of the file not found exception is IO exception, which is required for the line number 16 that has been added in the line number 12. Next step. Once we are able to read the workbook, as per the Excel terminology, in the workbook we have sheets. Then we have to create an XSSF sheet which will be helpful for reading the sheet information. So XSSF sheet, Excel sheet is equal to, here we don't create an object, but the workbook contains 3 sheets as I said. Sheet 1 refers to index 0. You can check the notepad which I have told you clearly. Sheet 1 refers to index 0, sheet 2 index 1, sheet 3 index 2. So now we are interested to read the sheet 1 which is index 0. So Excel workbook dot workbook contains sheet get sheet. One second, let me try to put that information. Get sheet get sheet at the index as 0. Here when I say index as 0, when I place a mouse over on this, it is clearly giving the information get sheet at int index and passing the index as 0. 0 refers to sheet 1. Okay, now we have to import XSSF sheet as well. Quick fix, import it. So this is also completed. Then next step, we always need to understand that in an Excel, when you look at the rows and columns, it's like a matrix, a 3 by 2 matrix. So this 3 by 2 matrix of data can be stored in an array. Why? If you look at automation tools like Selenium, and also in test-ng we have a annotation named data provider. The data provider needs an array of input to be passed to execute the test case with different sets of data. So it is benefit for us to store the data from the Excel into an array. Okay, but if we wanted to store the data into an array, the prerequisite is we should know the size of the array. So now I am going to create an array. See here, string and data array, a 2-dimensional array because we have rows and columns. Row index, column index both are available. Now we have to say new string 2-dimensional array we created. What is important for the array? We should know the size of the array. What is the row index? What is the column index? We have to refer to get the value. So to get the number of rows, we have to write a logic now. To get the number of rows, guys, now we are going to write a logic. Let's see the logic for getting the number of rows. Int rows equal to Excel sheet dot get physical number of rows, which will be helpful for us to get the number of rows. Similarly, how do we get columns? Int columns is equal to number of columns is equal to, say, Excel sheet dot get row. Here let's provide the row number as 0 dot get physical number of cells. Okay, so here rows, we get the number of rows as 3. Here we get the number of columns as 2. Once we get the rows and columns, we are going to provide as the size of the array as rows as 3, columns as 2. Now our array is ready. We know the number of rows, we know the number of columns. Now the next step is, how do we focus on reading the data stored in a particular cell? And also, when there are two different indexes, a row index and column index to refer to the value, we have to use an nested for loop. I hope everybody is able to write nested for loop. It is not complex. You have to write one for loop. Inside that you have to write one more for loop only. So let's get into that now. For int I is equal to 0, I less than rows, I plus plus. Then you have to write one more for loop within that, which refers to the columns now. Int j is equal to 0, j less than columns, then j plus plus. We have to write a logic now to read the data stored in a particular cell by using the row index and the column index. So we need to use XSSF cell now to read the content of the cell. So let's try to create XSSF cell, a cell here. We create a variable and import the class accordingly. Now fetch the content of the cell. For fetching the content of the cell, what we need, we read a row index and column index. So Excel sheet dot get row as I and get cell of j. So this will helpful for us to get the particular cell. Excel sheet dot get row, the row index, and get cell, the column index, to get a particular cell which is available in the row index and column index. We get the cell now, and cell contains the data. You can read the contents of the cell data as cell dot get string cell value, which returns a string here. Say cell contents, and you can store this string into an array which we declared in the line number 22, data of I j equal to cell contents. That's it. It is completed. A few APIs related to Java, a few APIs related to Apache POI helps to read the data available in the XLSX. And very important, once we complete reading the Excel file, we have to close, fis.close, which will be helpful for closing the Excel file. Let's open the XLSX file and try to understand and relate to this program. Just keep it in the bottom now and try to look into the program now. One, two, three rows. 1, 2, 2 columns. Let me execute this program now to see the outcome of this program. Just execute this program now. Right click, run as. Java application. Then window show view console. We are getting an output? No, right? It shows no output. Let's see what is the problem here. Let me close this program now. Okay, why we are not getting any output in the console? What is the reason? It is very simple. The reason being here, we didn't print anything in the for loop. The program has executed successfully, but if we wanted to know the outcome, it is important that we have to use system.out.println to get the idea that what is the content that is stored in the array. So just mention data ij. That's it. This is the line I have to add before I see the content in the console. So let me save it now. Let me execute the program. The program has no issues. It should work now because we are printing the information in the console. See now, test case 00, test step 001, open the Chrome browser, test step 002, enter the URL, test step 003, log into the application. So very easily we can write a program to read the data from XLSX. Okay, now let's get into the next demo part. As part of this topic, how do we read XLSX in a Maven project? For that, let's go back to the Eclipse now. I'm going to create a new Maven project. New, other, provide a Maven here. Select the Maven project and click on next. Don't need to change anything, just give the artifact ID as say total QA dot Apache POI. Same thing mentioned for the group ID. This is just an example. Click on finish. Now the Maven project is ready. Expand this. It will take some time to build the Maven project. It will show the directory structure as source main Java, source test Java, pom.xml file which contains the dependencies that requires to be downloaded as part of this project. Now let's copy this file now, this package, Control C, go to source main Java, copy this package. What I am trying to do is I am copying this package into this project so that I should not write this program again. I just need to add the required dependencies for this file. Okay, when I copy this file from a Java project to the Maven project, I need to add some dependencies. When you wanted to add the dependencies as part of the Maven project, we have to add these dependencies in the pom.xml file. Let me open a pom.xml file. In the pom.xml file, we had to add these dependencies here. So let's go back to the Chrome browser and try to find out, download the Maven dependencies for Apache POI. Then we got the link here. Click on the first link and open the first link, Apache POI link. Open that. Then click on the first version, the latest version which is available here, and copy this content. It's already copied to the clipboard. Go back to the Eclipse and under dependencies just add this dependency and select all the lines of code here and Okay, then just do indent tab. Just tab it. Just indent it properly. Okay, now the required Apache POI library has been downloaded successfully. You can check here also. It will take some time to load this Apache POI. Let me save it first. Then it will download the required libraries which we have added as part of the pom.xml file to the Maven dependencies. Okay, perfectly done. Let's go back to the program now. I still see some more errors are there. But Apache POI dependency is already added. But still, why we are getting errors? The reason being, if you look at POI-41.2, if you expand this library, you don't find here the user model related information here. You see here, HSSF. HSSF is mainly useful for reading XLS only, but we need XSSF. Do you see any packages related to XSSF? No, not available. So POI-41.2 doesn't help us to add required libraries. So go back to the Chrome browser again. Try to select POI-OOXML package. Click on the first version, which is the latest version. Then copy it. Go back to Eclipse. Just add this dependency in the pom.xml file. Then save it. It will take some time to build the workspace. Once the workspace is built, guys, just do one thing. Go back to the POI-OXML, expand this POI-OXML 41.2 jar. If you scroll down, you will find the user model under user model dot, that is dot user model dot. Let me look at the exact package name, user model dot XSF workbook. So let's scroll down here. Yes, here we are able to find. So guys, this is the package, and scroll down here, you will find all the required classes which we have used as part of our project. See here, XSSF cell, right? Similarly, XSSF workbook. See, it is there. Similarly, XSSF sheet. So all these classes are part of the package as org.apache.poi.xssf.userModel, and this package is part of POI-OOXML-41.2.jar. You got the clarity now? So even though we add one Maven dependency, the import statements are still showing error. So we added POI-OOXML-41.2.jar, which contains the required packages for this program to execute. Now copy the XLSX file to the Maven project. Right click, copy, paste it here. You can find this file is available. Now we are able to write the program in the Maven project, and this doesn't have any errors. Let me execute the program in the Maven project also. Nice. We got output. Okay. Now we are able to read the data from the XLSX in a Java project. We are able to read the XLSX file in a Maven project. Now walkthrough of Java and Apache POI API. In this example, we have used some of the Java API libraries, the file class, the file input stream class, the file not found exception class, the IO exception class. All these APIs are related to Java. You can easily understand java.io dot, and we have used some of the APIs from Apache, XSSF cell to read the contents of the cell, to get the contents of the cell, sheet to refer to a particular sheet, workbook to refer to a particular workbook within the file. So all these APIs are useful for us for reading the data from XLSX. Thank you for watching this video. This video will be helpful for you guys to read an XLSX file without using any complex logic and easy to remember logic for you to write a program. And if you like my video, please subscribe and keep in touch with me.